It's Sunday night, and I'm just barely getting to film. Good evening. So, I apologize for not putting a video out last Friday. Last week was chaotic to say the least. On top of that, I wasn't feeling very well, and I needed to just take my time. So I decided to take a day off and kind of recompose myself. But I was not able to record any plant chores I did last week. I didn't really have a lot of things that I did all at once. It was mostly kind of little things here and there, watering or pulling a couple dead leaves from things. So nothing was really, super eventful for me to really document it for you guys. And right now I have my little one with me while my husband is at work. So I apologize if you get a little background noise, but since I have my daughter here and I'm watching her and she's going to be roaming around with me as I get this done, just be mindful she's a lot of background noise. All finished? Oh, okay. Yeah? I do have a lot of pruning or propagations or just overall cutting back on some plants that I need to do. So I will just talk you through it as I go. There may be frequent cuts because, again, I'm doing this with my daughter, so I'm probably just going to do a few things at a time. But I will get it done, and I will take you along with me as I do it. So let's cut up some plants. All right, so first and foremost, sorry all the lighting, it's evening right now. It's Sunday night. This is literally how my week has been. It's Sunday night and I'm just now starting to record. I'm going to wash them right now in the sink and spray them down with some disinfectant or some sanitizing spray so that they're clean and sterile before I start making cuts. And I will probably carry around the little sanitizing spray so I can spray in between cuts to make sure I'm not transferring anything from plant to plant. All right, so first things first, I have this trio of philodendrons here that are getting really wiry, and although they're lovely and full on top, these tendrils that are coming out, because I'm tucking them away constantly so the baby doesn't pull on it, I'm just going to cut them off and propagate it. And if anything, it's only going to create some more fullness on top, which I want. So I'm going to cut this probably in here somewhere. Well, these inner nodes are really nice and close. Hey, get your hand, see, this is why we need to chop it down. All right, so I'm going to cut this somewhere in here. Cut right here. I do. So let's cut right here. Right here. Okay, ta-da! Movie magic. So that's done. And these are slightly trimmed back. I just shifted these back a little bit more so there's some more space. And voila. Not much change to the look of the plants. It's still full, but I got all of that from that. Okay, so dropping off all my cuttings at my plant station because I'm going to be propagating these a little bit later, so I'm going to leave them here for right now. Okay, so next plant is my Marble Queen. I'm going to just do it. Oh, there she go. I think that's actually all I'm going to clip off for right now, and I'm just going to leave that there. Okay, so over here, I'm going to talk about this aglaonema for a little bit, but I'm going to move it to another spot because I need to really get all around it, and I need to do it where my daughter can't reach. So I will be right back. Okay, so I just basically came over to my plant station, and I'll probably bring the plants here to take clippings from now on because it's so much easier to have my phone mount. So I do have these areas that have this kind of like, I'm guessing it's a fungal growth. I'm not really sure, but I'm definitely cutting these leaves off. So I'm going to go through first and cut off any leaves that I find any kind of nastiness on here. As you can see, you see those little spots, huh? Yeah, so I'm going to just go through and cut off any bad leaves first. Now I'm also going to be very mindful that this plant potentially could go into shock from me cutting it back too much. So I'm not going to be extremely drastic with the cutting back. I'm just coming with the mind, being prepared that it might go into shock and it might take a while for it to push out new growth. But I'm willing to take that chance. So we'll just see what happens. Okay, so this is what I'm going to leave it at right now, which it's still a decent size. As you can see, there's still probably 10 to 12 leaves on here, and I'm trying to leave all the leaves with the most amount of green so I can make sure that it has enough chlorophyll to photosynthesize. So there are a couple of really pale leaves. They're also very juvenile, so they might not have developed all of the chlorophyll yet. So I'm going to leave those be. And then it has some nice mature leaves that have more green, so I know it's going to be okay. But we will see what happens. At least I feel like it is a little healthier. It might push a little bit more new growth, so we could see some better, more stable leaves on here. All right, so the next baby is this guy right here. All right, so in avoidance of trying to have you just look down a giant moss pole, this lovely Pearls and Jade / Enjoy, which if you've seen some of my other videos, you know the story about this. So I have vines that are clearly outgrowing the pole, and I'm basically just going to be cutting those pieces off. But there is quite a bit of new growth happening here at the bottom, so I'm obviously going to leave that alone because I want to force more bushy growth on this. That's my goal. Especially because these do tend to have smaller leaves, so I'm not going to cut off too much on the ends. I want to leave as much new growth as possible, but some of these just are so long that if it doesn't wrap, it's getting snipped. Okay, now the last two plants I have that I'm going to be playing with today is this lovely Pilea macrophylla and this Peperomia Pixie. Both of them are variegated, and they're both going completely out of control and have no shape to them. And I'm sorry, my shadow's all over it. But this Pilea is so big that it's falling over, and it's not a watering issue. It's just getting super duper top heavy that it's like almost like it's trailing, and I don't want it to do that. I like it when it has this like tree-like shape, but the base is getting kind of sparse and the tops are super lush, so I'm going to be cutting these back and replanting them in. Now this Peperomia Pixie Veragotta is getting so overgrown and starting to grow out the sides of the pot. And I like it, but I just don't have that much space for it to get that big and crazy. Plus, there are some parts that are actually losing variegation. So I'm going to kind of trim them back, but I just want to take a moment to appreciate this plant in all its beauty. Look at it. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit of a fanatic. These are kind of old spent leaves. I'm going to trim this back a little bit just to kind of reshape it and to let some of this, you know, little new growth come out and help make it look a little more full. It's so glossy. It's almost glittery. I wish you could really see it in this camera. I think I'm gonna have to just do a video on this plant in general. I'm gonna do the microfiber first. I'm gonna cut quite a bit. Okay, so I almost completely cut this whole thing back. There's literally just a couple of leaves, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. I'm actually kind of glad. So now I'm going to probably put a couple of them back into the soil. Some of them I'm going to put in water, and some of them I'm going to put in sphagnum moss and split it 3 different types of propagation. And I know all of them will root, but at least I'll get like the most amount of success that I possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and put the ones that I'm going to put in here in right now, and then the ones that I'm going to water propagate or sphagnum moss propagate, I'm going to set aside. This Peperomia has been with me for a couple of years now. So the question is, what and where do I want to cut? Obviously, I'm going to keep all the new growth. So I'm going to cut mostly the parts of the plant that are kind of that intermediate, where it's not new growth and it's not old. But this piece, I'm wondering if I should stake it. What would you guys do? Would you let it go or would you stake it? Okay, so I had to do plan B. Repotted him up into some terracotta, and I put a little stake in here. And I will probably just have to stake him up because he's gonna get everywhere. Okay, so let me just get some plant Velcro to attach him so it doesn't fall. I'm gonna have to be kind of gentle because I don't want to snap the stem. Nope, I think that's okay. I'm gonna leave it like this. I think that works. All right, so just wanted to kind of wrap things up on here real quick. I'm sorry, there's a lot of stuff behind me. But I just wanted to thank you for watching and for hanging out and supporting this video however you deem necessary. I appreciate that people appreciate what I appreciate, if that makes sense. So I think the plant community, or just people who enjoy plants in general, I think we all kind of get it. Plant chores should never feel like a chore. It's therapy. Getting to sit down and play with your plants, you actually are kind of unwinding and doing something for something else other than yourself that allows your mind to relax. For me, plants are never a chore. It is a way for me to unwind and to ease my mind when dealing with a lot of anxiety and things that I think we all deal with. But I didn't want to get too deep, but I just wanted to say thank you and that I appreciate people that share that sentiment and feeling. With that being said, now that the baby's asleep and I have some quiet time to myself, I think I'm going to actually stop recording and just take care of my plants, just so that I can have my little piece. I've done all of the chopping that I really think I'm going to do as far as cutting back some plants, but I'm going to go back and cut the nodes so I can propagate those, and I'll stick them in some water, and then I'll clean up because I left a mess at my workstation over there, so I'm going to clean that all up. I don't think I really have any other major plant things to do. Might just kind of check some of my plants and just kind of sit and enjoy them and just stare at them for a while, because sometimes just looking at them is peaceful. And I'm just going to have a little snack and get ready for bed because I've got a long day tomorrow too. And again, I'm sorry for last week being so crazy. I've been pretty absent on social media. I will be back this week, back to normal, back to my regular scheduled programming. Friday's video will probably come out towards the end of Friday. If you have anything else to share, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I enjoy reading them and I try to respond to everyone that I can. And if I haven't responded to yours, I'm so sorry, but I'm doing the best that I can. But if you want to check out my social media, everything is all at Plant Posy. Right now I just have TikTok and Instagram, but I have some new things happening on my Instagram, so if you want to check that out. Other than that, thank you again for watching. Thank you for being there. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I'm going to do what I need to do and then go to bed. I will see you guys all next time. Thank you again because I'm rambling and I'm just gonna go. Okay, thanks.